Well, good morning, Glue Troopers. Hope everybody's doing well. Last night, after I was finished the unboxing, I redid the stash, got everything set up, got all the ships organized together and everything. And once I got all that done, both in the office and in the TARDIS, I was on the TARDIS, I decided to start working on the Vietnam build. And I may have bitten off a little more than I can chew, but best to get an early start, right? So I started off, figured I'd start with the low-hanging fruit. So Ace Hobbies A4 Skyhawk and the Monogram T28 Trojan were the first two I kicked off with. And the Ace kit moldings looked pretty good. It seemed like a pretty straightforward kit. So I went ahead and got started on it. But when I was test fitting the parts, I found that the guide pin in the nose would not come undone. So I figured, well, I better go ahead and put the cockpit in there. It's just a couple of pieces and go ahead and glue it together. But apparently I didn't realize the kit had developed a really bad warp on the fuselage halves, and I couldn't get even though the nose was, I wound up having to just cut the piece on the nose, file it down, and tension glue it, or glue it together under tension. But I was amazed at how bad the fit was. I really shouldn't say the fit was, is that how bad it was buckling because of the warping. So it took this Rube Goldberg setup with the clamps and everything to get the fuselage halves to seat. I'm still going to wind up puttying them a fair bit. And the reason there's black smudges all over it was I had just a little bit of black acrylic paint that was still wet on my thumb from where I had painted the cockpit. And of course, it's amazing how far a little black paint will go on a light gray model when you start applying pressure. But I was in the throes of trying to get everything seated, so I was like, I'll just clean it up later, which I did. But the kit, I'm sure it's not a bad kit. It's just those warped fuselage halves were a real nightmare to deal with. And the irony behind that is everything else seems to fit beautifully. In fact, I decided to make it a wheels up display because, let's be honest, the A4 looks a little spindly with the wheels down. And all the gear doors and everything, just a little bit of filing, they dropped right in, looked pretty nice. I was actually kind of impressed with that, because a lot of you know, if a model's not designed to be made wheels up, a lot of times getting the gear doors to fit can be a real trick. And the way the bombs were mounted on the sprues, I was able to trim them down so that I could paint them on the sprue with almost the entire bomb exposed. So I like that about it. And once I got that to the point where I figured I better let that stuff harden overnight, I went ahead and started on the T28. This is the old Monogram kit repopped. And I remember building this as a kid, and little flashbacks are coming back and trying to remember which way the landing gear went because the diagrams aren't perfect. And one of the things I remember about the kit, and it's just Monogram trying to make a nice but basic kit. You know, the gears are supposed to retract, although I wouldn't play with them. You're guaranteed to break them if you start trying to fold them up and down. But the main gear door on a T28 is at least a two-piece landing gear door plus the inner door. And when the gear comes down, the door, the lower flat panel comes up over it. This has a one-piece gear door on it. It's just not going to be accurate if you make a gear down. If you make it wheels up, that's fine. I realize they did this to accommodate the retracting landing gear. I'll probably pose the model. I don't know. I might do it gear up, but I was kind of thinking about doing it gear down. It's just, if I do that, then I'm going to have to cut the gear door if I want it to look right, or just live with the imperfection. I'll worry about it. You know, it's a pretty straightforward kit. It only comes with the one pilot and a couple of ground figures, so not a big deal. So anyway, I've got all that hardening, and of course I still have to work on the Douglas World Cruisers, so there's plenty going on. And this Phantom I'm going to tackle in small pieces because it's a much more advanced kit, and I'm just kind of using these others as the warm-ups. But anyway, that's where we're at with that. Hope you guys are having a great day. Take care of yourselves, and as always, model on.